Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rooted on Body TV, and my name is Princess. Yeah, today we come with an interesting topic, a topic that every intending couple, every home, every youth must listen to, because this topic I want to talk about today is so broad and interesting. Many homes are broken, are apart because of their ignorance in this topic. And this topic is about third parties in relationship or marriage. Eniketa, a third person, a third man in your relationship or your marriage. But before we continue, I would like you to subscribe, like, and click on the notification button to our channel. And I'll be right back. Welcome back. Yeah, third party in a relationship or marriage. Every one of us have a fault, or how do I say it, is flawed in one way or the other. We all have our faults. Like the Yoruba people will always say, they will say, it means that we can't all be perfect, but the funny thing is we all want a perfect relationship. We all want a perfect marriage. But the truth is, there is no challenge-free relationship or a challenge-free marriage. There is no marriage that will not have its flops, its slope, or its up and down. And that is why we'll be looking at this topic, third party in a relationship. When we are talking about marriage, marriage is like an exclusive club. It is more or less like a two-people arrangement, a two-persons arrangement without other people, without other parties. It means that once a marriage is going beyond you and him, or me and him, or him and her, then definitely the marriage is already at the brink of collapsing. That is why during our wedding vows, though I'm not yet married, but I know during wedding vows in movies, I always hear them saying, forsaking all others. It means me and you till death do us part. Forsaking all others. So the moment we are those others, the moment we are bringing them into our marriage or our relationship, then there's a problem. And it could actually not be a problem. And that is why we'll be talking more on this topic. First of all, when we are talking about a third party, a third person, what do we mean? Who are we talking about? A third party could be your child, could be your spiritual father, could be your mother, could be your father's mother, your sister's sister, your friend, all those bizarre connections. And the ones that are close to us, those are people, or my best friend. Those are people we refer to as a third person or a third party in a marriage. Most of these people are not bad, as in they have good intention. But whenever they come into a marriage or between a couple's love, they can be very destructive, and you will need to do everything you can at that time to protect your marriage. Sharing intimate details about your relationship, about your personal, closure with your spouse, with your husband, with a third party, is not a good idea. So the best thing you can do is to rely on each other, talk to each other, communicate to each other, because the need for a third party in a relationship, like I said, is to avoid those issues that will later happen in your marriage. Those little issues. You hear husband saying that he doesn't like when he finish drinking table, or no, he doesn't like when he wants to eat and there should be, a little speck of dirt on his plate, and his wife is avoiding it. But the children, one way or the other, we shall put that dirt on the plate, and it will just cause little issues, and before you know it, 1 month, 2 months, they are not talking to each other. And at that time, they will really, if they are not communicating to each other, they will really felt they need the help of a third party, which is either the husband's mother or the wife's mother, or a friend, to actually help them. Or rather, they would rather talk to a best friend that they felt they can pour their frustration, their emotional frustration on, or they can pour their emotional anger on. And meanwhile, it is not like that. You telling the third party about something intimate, something personal, or something that is happening in your marriage might not be a good idea, because that person might not even be happy with your marriage, and all you are doing is just to tell him everything without considering the fact that the person might not be happy with you. And before you know it, the marriage will start breaking down. But at the same time, some people will be like, she's my best friend, I will just tell her. I will not tell her the full details or intimate things or things that are too, how do I say it, that I felt they are secretive. I won't tell her. I will only tell her what my husband did that made me angry. Don't you know that at that time, at that point in time, where we want to pour out our anger to the third party, there's something called vulnerability. We become vulnerable. We start talking, and before you know it, you talk beyond. And what we happen, we start unknowingly, unconsciously, we start revealing our ultimate desires, things that are, how do I say, things that we really wish for in our marriage, or things that we felt our spouse is not doing, my husband is not doing at that time in my marriage. So, but then after telling your friend all these things, you feel like, after all, I only told my friend. It's not like I called her to my home to come and talk to my husband for me. Since I did not call her to my house to come and talk to my husband, then a third party is not involved. No. The moment you are telling your friend, and your friend is hearing those secrets, those issues you and your husband are having, or you and your wife is having, you are inviting the person to your home. You're already inviting the person to your needs. You're already telling the person that the person can give you advice, the person can give you say, the person can actually, how I say it, have access to issues in your marriages. He have access to you, and it could actually be a problem or not. And when we are talking about third party again, we are not really talking about how do I say it, only discussions, maybe all those little. I really want to talk about intimate discussions today too also. When we have intimate issues, when I mean intimate issues, I'm talking about when our husband or our wife are unable to satisfy our sexual desires. Still talking about a third party in your relationship or marriage. Now let's leave aside our families and friends. Now, as a lady, as a man, let's talk about the opposite sex. When you are being close, you felt the person is your close friend, and then you are revealing intimate discussions with the person about your wife or about your husband. You are, like I said earlier, you are unknowingly inviting the person to have access. And before you know it, the devil, the devil is a very cunning person. He can just use that method to create unnecessary connection between you and that person, and that is already moving, and that is already a step closer to a destroyed home. So that is why we need to be careful. So but today I'll be telling you about the pros and cons of having a third party in your relationship or marriage. So when talking about the pros and cons of having a third party in your marriage, I'll first of all talk about the pros, that is the advantages of having a third person, a third party in your marriage. First of all, it allows for medium of expression. Having a third party in your marriage or relationship will serve as an outlet for all those accumulated, stored pains, cries, sucked in emotions, those emotions that has been there, those things you feel, I should tell my husband, won't he get angry? Those things you feel, if I should tell my wife, won't she just feel I am degrading her or I'm downgrading her or something like that? That person serves as a medium for expressing yourself, and then you begin to blot out those things that are paining you, those things that you felt you can't share with your partner. You begin to tell him. That is one of the advantages of having a third party in your relationship. And the second thing, or the second reason or advantages of having a third party in your relationship is for protection. If you look at the high level of abusive marriages, how I say it, murder cases, suicide cases of husband killing their wife, of wife committing suicide, of husband committing suicide, of a woman being reported hanged to death, or a woman being beaten to death. Domestic violence, harassment, assault, emotional defrauding, all those things happen now in marriages. So now if you're having a third party in your marriage, it becomes easier. It becomes, when things are happening and you felt, it is going haywire, the best thing is for you to tell that third party that even if anything will later go wrong, the third person can stand as a witness. The third party will serve in as a means of protecting you. So that is also one of the advantages of having a third party in your relationship. And the third pros for having a third party in your relationship is for professionalism. That having a third party in their relationship or marriage is bad, or rather, they already have a negative thinking about having third parties in their marriage. So, but when professionalism is involved, you look for, even if you want to choose a third party, you and your husband, you and your wife, you can actually look for professionals in this field. That's why we have counselors, therapists that can help you in settling disputes in your marriage without any emotional attachment. The cons of having a third party in your marriage, or I would say the defects in having a third party in your marriage. Number one, betrayal. I believe this one is already, and I say it, opened to almost everybody. Is either you've witnessed this or you've seen it in movies. It is actually true. You know, when you're already open up to this third person, either he or she, the person already has a valid or an amount of information against you. So now what happens when this person betrays you, disappoints you by letting out those informations to the public, or by using, or by letting or telling others those information, or even distorting the truth? It means that the third party you are confiding in, that person you are telling things to, is also telling somebody else. And before you know it, betrayal comes in. You feel betrayed. You feel like, I shouldn't have. Because you start hearing things about yourself. You start hearing rumors about your husband as an husband beater. And meanwhile, you only told her that, do you know that my husband did like this, brought up his hand, and he raised it and said, if not for God. That's what you told her or told him. And when she would tell someone else, she was like, let me say it in Yoruba, because Yoruba people used to exaggerate. That kind of thing, because Yoruba people, God bless us, we exaggerate a lot. So that kind of thing. And before you know it, that one wants to tell someone, this one will tell someone, and then when you will check social media the next morning, you will see it. So person is an husband beater. So person is a womanizer. Or so wife is a prostitute in her past life. The second thing is blackmail. You know, in the process of having this connection with your third party, if there is a fallout between you and the person, like maybe you are not talking the way you are, or maybe there's a disagreement between you and that third party, the person can use it as a blackmail, because the person, like I said earlier, already has more than enough information about you and your family. You already told him everything, and the person can use it to blackmail. You already told him those secrets, those dirty secrets, those things you felt, you know, those intimate words that you're supposed to be telling your husband or telling your wife. You already told him or her. At the end of the day, the person will use it to blackmail. I know we do see these things in movie. It happens for you. If you can ask people with experiences like that, that is what happened. They only confided in that person, and before you know it, the person is already blackmailing them, already using it to pressure them, using it to collect money from them. So that is another disadvantage of having a third party in your marriage or relationship. So let's beware. Let's be aware of this. Blackmail is real. And the third one, which is the last on my list, is taking sides and displaying bias. Yes. In fact, especially with family members, this thing used to happen. You know, when your third party is your mother, or when your third party is your father, and most especially, you know your mom is a single mother, and you want to tell, I'm not saying it's bad. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you scenarios that has happened, that I have seen and watched in movies. She will only tell you based on the experience she has passed through, or the experience he has passed through, and before you know it, you will start following in that footstep. It can actually break your marriage. So, and you know one thing about those mothers, when I said most especially relatives, they love taking sides. You just tell mom, mommy, do you know that? And your mom will be like, so no, if it is me, no, I would not take it. No, I'm not saying you should do it to your husband. It's just that if it is me, if my husband look at me like that, glare at me like that, I might I'll put too much salt in his food that night. We have to apologize. You feel your husband is wrong. I mean, why you know that is wrong? They only take your side because they want you to hear the good things. They want you to feel good. So a third party sometimes always takes sides, which is biased. They are giving you a wrong notion, a bad mentality. At the end of the day, if you are walking in that trend, working with that mentality, your marriage will collapse. Yeah, it's the truth. So in conclusion, I want to ask you, can you really do without a third party in your marriage? Think about these things. Think about it. Ask yourself, can I really do without having a third party in my marriage? Or those third party, those people that are already involved in my marriage, can I really do without them? Without them, will I still be okay? Will things be okay in my family? These are questions you need to ask yourself. In brief, I want to believe you've learned a lot from the information I gave to you today. Like they say, information is key. Information is power. Without information, we are ignorant of things. So that is why I've come to share this with you today. I'm not deciding for anybody. All I just want you to do is think about these things. Think about the pros. If you are okay with it, go ahead. Think about the cons. If you are okay with it, go ahead. Alright guys, we've finally come to the end of today's program. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please drop your comment in the comment section below. We want to hear about your thoughts. We want to hear about your ideas. We want to hear about your experiences on this topic. Till we meet again, stay safe.